It's been 5 weeks. We ghosted you. We didn't address it. You're welcome. Welcome back to Me on the Mic. This week we're talking about fan culture and fan etiquette. So let's get moving. So the first topic I thought we'd cover is where to
Mhm.
draw the line with fan accounts because boy have I seen some stuff while you've been gone.
Okay, so I have a fan account. It's been alive since 2013, maybe 2012. So I've been on the front lines of fan accounts. For me, it's a celebration of the artist and their music. That's pretty much it. Yes, it gets exciting when the artists that you love are like online and they're interacting with you. And like, luckily for me, my fan account is 5 Seconds of Summer, so they are online quite a lot and they're quite active. They like a bunch of my tweets here and there. They follow me, all of this stuff, right? So that makes it all the more exciting. However, the line is drawn when you start talking about their personal lives.
Yes.
Why do we care about their babies? Why do we care about their wives? Why do we obviously we care about their wives in the sense of, yay, they're in a happy relationship. But why are we like conspiring on personal things, especially specifically Luke's baby? He made that very clear in the baby announcement. I'm only doing this so no one else does it because I don't want this out there.
Yeah,
Why are so many people online being like, has anyone seen the baby? Doesn't matter. Don't care. I don't want to see it.
exactly. And that's been quite upsetting to see as well because I'm like, this his poor wife is actually from what I've seen, because again, I haven't actually been there, but it seems like she's actually like having to hide on tour. And that must be a horrible feeling for however many weeks this tour is to actually have to like not really go outside and be around people apart from like the band, which I'm sure they are looking after her. But to have to go into hiding so that the baby isn't seen. And there are fans talking about times where, because obviously when you're touring the world with a kid, you're gonna want to take them to see like these amazing places. And the fans talking about like, oh, I saw them, but I didn't take a photo of them as if that's some sort of moral high ground, and it's not. It's standard. Don't post kids on the internet. You shouldn't
Mhm.
even really post your own on the internet, but you especially shouldn't post the others. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
because I also have fan accounts, and also because I run the account with the magazine, I have had to tell everyone that I work with, like, please never comment on a birthday post for a kid, never comment on a birthday post for a wife or something. Only comment on like actual news relating to their art because
Mhm.
we don't want to encourage like other fans to be that like I don't even know what the right word is. Like invasive, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say invasive.
Yeah. Because I mean, you see other magazines and other news places commenting on like personal posts. And I also do think that there's a world where the second you're sort of in that spotlight, you probably shouldn't be posting that on a music account anyway. Um,
Mhm.
but I come from the standpoint of like I have my photography account, I have the magazine account, I have multiple different accounts, and then I have private locked accounts. And
Mhm.
even then, because you never know who might see it, even then I blur my cousins' faces and stuff. But it's just not something that like you should be hearing about as a fan because you
Mhm.
connect to their music. And sure, it
Yeah.
might help, like obviously knowing whether they're like if they've gone through a bad breakup, it might change how they write their music. But
Mhm.
that doesn't mean it needs to influence how you understand it either. So you shouldn't be like theorizing about it of like this one's probably about the sex or this song's about a kid or anything. It's not about that. It's about how you interpret it. The next thing, and this is a big one because some of you are words that I will get demonetized for saying. Um, behaviors we should not see in the pitch.
There is a word that I can't say. but there is an incident that happened in Dublin where someone performed an act on their partner in the pit. That's the best way I can put it. An
Yeah.
an oral act, let's say. That, but it's disgusting,
Oh my God. Especially because it's in a break and there are bathrooms.
right? Have some decorum. Go to a
Mhm.
stall.
Oh my
Lock
God.
yourself in a public bathroom.
I can't imagine
Mhm.
like actually having to see that. Like that is,
Yeah, that was intense. I also in Belfast, I got thrown up on.
I saw that as well, and I was just like, that is so gross.
Off the bat, I have emetophobia, so I struggle really badly with vomit.
Yeah.
Luckily, I don't know if that's the right word, but we'll roll with it. Luckily, it was just she had drank so much that she threw up. So it wasn't like
Yeah.
chunky. It was like someone spilled a drink on my back. So like I could kind of like play denial for a little bit.
I have a weak
Luckily
stomach. This is putting me through
wasn't
it.
like it wasn't like on me. It was like next to me, but it had caught a couple of my bits and it was just whatever. But that we can't be drinking so much that you make yourself sick at a show. That's
No,
just irresponsible. Let's not be giving each other favors in crowds. Let's not be doing that.
no.
Um, any kind of bodily fluid
I
shouldn't
was
be.
gonna I was gonna go there. Anything that comes out of the body, because I have heard not just liquids. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. Then the other thing is
Yeah.
things should not be thrown at the axe.
Yes. Things. Yeah.
The only thing you should throw at the person on stage is your voice because you're singing that loud.
But yeah, bodily fluids. No. Vomit. No.
Mm-mm.
Favors. No. Bodily fluids. No. Also, behaviors we shouldn't see in the pit. A lot of the shows that have been happening. Um, there's been a lot of people kind of, I don't know how to word it because if I say like stealing pics, because it's like hard to, sometimes they are just tossed out into the crowd and it is luck. It is pure chance of if you catch it, if it lands by you, whatever, that is just luck. But there are some very specific moments where it is obviously intended for a person because they have a sign, they have a t-shirt, they have something that garners that kind of back and forth from the artist. In my case, Callum gave me a pick because I had a shirt on that said dibs on the bassist. Eh,
Yeah.
right. So, anyways,
Yeah, but it shouldn't be like stolen out of someone's hand, I guess is what you're meaning.
and it also shouldn't, if it lands so close to you that it's obviously intended for you, someone else shouldn't be from, 3 people back leaping forward to try and grab it because like that obviously just take the L. It's not yours, that's okay. It wasn't meant for you, that's okay. On that, there are people online selling pics that have caught them and then sold them. At that point, just give them to the person next to you. If you don't want to have it, just
Yeah.
pass it on to someone else. It's okay. It's not that deep. If you don't want
No.
it, you don't want it. It's okay. Someone will.
Yeah. And it like upsets me because you see like I saw on the magazine account that someone had got a pic and they'd like turned it into a necklace so that they could wear it with them. That is
Mhm.
fan culture. That is like a true fan will want to do that. Or like for me, I play guitar and so I would actually literally use the pic. Like
Mhm.
especially because I've learnt their songs. I just, when you're selling it online, it upsets me so much because you're taking away that experience from number one, you probably weren't the person who caught it in the first place. And now you're selling it instead of like this fan that it was intended for doesn't get it.
Mhm.
Like it's just pretty upsetting. But
Yeah. And then the other obvious behavior we should not be seeing in pits is fighting. Stop it. Why are we pushing and shoving? Why are we pushing people to the floor? Why are we scratching? Why are we... Grow up. Grow up.
yeah,
And why are we crushing?
No.
If I need an inch more space, it shouldn't offend you that I've said, please, can you move over a teeny tiny little bit because this much doesn't make a world of a difference to you, but it stops me from getting my ribs crushed. So,
Yeah. There's another thing, and this is not a pitch thing. I had an incident when I went to a solo show of a band member where we were standing in line, and my mum and I still talk about it because it's actually 2 years to the day. So we were standing in line for this person's show, who is, again, it was solo of a band member. Why are you standing there for a solo show talking about how that was the least attractive member of said band and how every other band member performs better solo shows? Why are you there? Why are you
why
there?
even go?
And
Yeah, why go?
especially, why are you saying that while their photographer is interviewing you for a fan moment? The behavior we should not see. It's if your tickets are not pit tickets, don't try any sneakiness to try and get into the pit. I don't
There
care
was a lot of
what you're trying to
honesty.
say. Yeah, I don't care what you're trying to say. If you wanted to be in the pit, just buy the pit tickets.
Hmm.
It's not that hard. It's not like there's some secret that gets you in there. Just buy the pit tickets. And if you can't afford them, I understand, and that's very sad, but you are not entitled to get in the pit. You are not entitled to extra merch because you feel like you are owed that as a VIP
Hmm.
or someone who has been to all of these different shows. You should not be trying to steal someone else's VIP pack. Like, it's just not how this goes. I just,
Also, with this tour, there's been pit upgrades for £50 slash €50. 50. A pit ticket, like a star pit ticket, was like £330. That obviously includes the sound check and everything. And when you're just buying the upgrade, you just have your general admission ticket with the upgrade on top. Like you don't get the sound check, you don't get the merch, you don't get the early entry, all of this. But it's £50. That's it. That's all it was. There
yeah,
is no need to be trying to sneak in when it is made available to you for an affordable price.
yeah. I'm trying to convert that price in my head. And even then, I'm thinking about how much I paid because I'm going to the Auckland show and I think about how much
Mhm.
I paid for mum and I to have the best of the best tickets. Like, I
Mhm.
think that what you talk about with the ticket price and then putting VIP on top, like, that is so much cheaper than what I believe I paid for just my ticket, let mum's.
Yeah. If, say, for example, like for the UK, if I got a general admission floor ticket that I think would have cost maybe £80, and then on top of that, you're paying the 50 for the pit upgrade, so that's a total of 130. That's £200 cheaper.
Yeah. So, like, there are options available. You don't
Mhm.
need to try and be sneaky. Like,
Mhm.
and it does suck if you can't afford something, but it's not the end of the world. Like, you know, at least you got in the room to see them. I mean, I know how devastated I was when I bought tickets to see Niall Horan, and unfortunately, I couldn't understand the venue chart apparently. So I thought that we got a good deal that I bought tickets right at the front of the seated. We were the second to last row of the venue. Niall was maybe a tiny little dot. Did I try any games? No. I just turned to my mum and went, well, I guess that's the last time I buy the tickets. And mum went, yeah, it is. I accepted it. Sometimes fan culture and fan experience can actually lead to industry opportunities
Mhm.
if you are respectful. I will say that. I don't want to see all of these fans being like, I want to work with so and so, so I am going to go and be invasive.
Mhm.
Um, because I have seen a bit of that recently where some people are like, oh, I want to photograph this show, so I'm just going to show up with a camera and that's how press passes work. No, it's not. It's not. I do not want to see you just like taking your camera and like there are rules. You can bring a point and shoot to most venues. There are some that don't even allow any cameras, but you can bring
Yeah.
a point and shoot to most venues. What you cannot do is bring a professional camera in unless you have a press pass.
Hmm.
Um, because I did see an instance of someone actually got kicked out the venue for bringing in a professional camera, and I was like, the fact you would even try that, like, the venue
Yeah.
rules are very clear about bags, about what is and isn't allowed in. Um,
And the
yeah,
rule is almost always worded as removable lens.
yeah,
That's usually the structure around the wording is that like you can bring a camera as long as it doesn't have a removable lens. That's pretty straightforward to me.
yeah, it is. And I some venues aren't like that. Like some venues will allow you to like bring in a 50 lens.
Hmm.
Um, because I do know. Oh, but it depends on how far back you are as well. Because I do know I went to a show um ages ago now, and they let me bring in my professional camera with a 50 millimeter lens, but also I was seated pretty decently back. And it was also like acknowledged that I was allowed to beforehand. Like I'd contacted the venue staff and I said, "Hey, your rules around cameras aren't like it doesn't say what you are or are not allowed." Um, and they assess it based on how far back you are. So that's completely different. But read the venue rules. I assure you, like it'll either be on your ticket or there'll be like a venue info link on your ticket. Please read that. Don't be caught like off guard. It's like there are rules around bags as well. Some venues require clear bags, some don't. Some venues require bags of a certain size. You're going to save yourself a lot of time if you just follow those rules immediately, rather than being one of many people who gets something confiscated before you even get in the venue. Because also, you then have a target on your back for the whole show. You are being watched after that.
Yeah. And also a general rule of thumb is the bag A4 size or smaller or clear. Like ideally both. If you can get a clear A4 bag, you're smooth sailing through basically any venue.
Yeah, I that is one thing that I have already like. Keep in mind, my show's October. I have a list of things like in a cart that I need to buy, and one of them is like a very small blue clear bag. Like you can see through it, but it's just got a blue tint, so obviously I know
Yeah.
it's yeah. Um, and I've already done the checks of how much I can fit in there. I mean, the other thing is you're there to watch a concert. You don't need all of this stuff. Just get like a little bag that you can put your keys and your phone in that goes like over the shoulder. You'll be fine. I promise.
Mhm.
Like,
I literally always end up just taking my phone and a portable charger. Like that's it. And whatever key I have, but usually I'm staying in a hotel, so usually it's like a room key that just slides in my pocket. So
yeah, exactly. Like, I think when I go to the next concert, it's probably like I'm planning on over the shoulder clear bag, phone, hotel key, um, emergency pills just in case uh, who knows what could happen, just in case. Um, but you don't like you're there to watch a show. You don't need a massive bag anyway. What are you gonna do? What are you doing with all of that stuff? Moving in? Some people would
think
actually like to do
I
that.
think it's more for when people buy merch to put their merch in. But this is why you strategically plan. You keep in your head what's already in your wardrobe. You go into it with the intention of whatever you have budgeted for, whatever you like the look of. But if you buy a hoodie, you can wrap it around your waist.
Hmm.
If you buy a t-shirt, it can probably fold up very small into your bag. Like there's even with a A4 bag, unless you're buying like two hoodies, two t-shirts, a poster, you're basically buying the whole merch stand. Like you've got space. It's okay.
Yeah. And then the other thing that you can do is where is it? Here it is. I've done this multiple times. Find yourself a clip like this. Now, this is quite small, so I wouldn't recommend. Can you even see it? What I would probably get something a bit bigger and a bit stronger, but you can clip a bag of merch onto your other bag. Like
Yeah.
I prefer to have everything attached to me. So I get a bag with it, whether I get a tote bag and I can put everything in there, or like sometimes they have like plastic or paper bags that you can get because you bought that much merch. Then you can clip it onto yourself. Now, granted, I have usually also not been like in the middle of the pit.
Mhm.
So I get that is a bit different. Or if you have the chance to, go get merch early and then take it back to your hotel room and come back. That's,
Yeah, because a lot of venues have the vans outside before you even enter the actual venue. They've usually got little, well, at least in the UK, there's like a couple of setups just outside of the venue. Just buy from there, go back to your hotel, go to the show.
yeah. I mean, I think if I was to think about the last concert I went to, we had early merch, and this wasn't even just a VIP thing because I didn't have VIP, but there's early merch that's open like all day outside the
Mhm.
venue. And then you get into the venue and there's one like where you line up, like inside. Um, and then there was one upstairs right before you got into the upstairs section of the venue. Um, and then to go back to Christchurch, there were two outside. I'm just going to put that clip down. There were two outside the venue, one right in the middle of because it was like on a big soccer field, one in the middle of the field, um, one on the inside of the venue. Like there are in New Zealand at least, there are merch stations all around, and they are usually open for the full day of the concert. Plan accordingly.
Mhm.
If you're that worried about where to put the merch, plan accordingly.
Also, if budgeting for merch is a problem, a lot of artists will upload their tour merch after the tour's finished online. Like, it's okay. It's okay.
Or even ahead
You'll
of
be
time. Because if you aren't the first show, one thing I've done is I have been watching the Five Sauce merch. Like I know that they're international websites at this point, but I've gone on, converted it to New Zealand dollars. In fact, actually, they are really good. And that website has the New Zealand dollar amount already there. And so I've
the
sort
merch
of,
the merch online for Five Sauce is different to the merch stand.
is it?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I was gonna say you could budget ahead of time because I've already budgeted ahead of time, but now that I know that, damn it.
Yeah,
Um,
different type of merch.
okay. So what I'm hearing is I now have to go and buy all of that stuff and then save
But
for tour.
but the prices are the same. So
Okay,
like if you see a hoodie online that you like, the hoodies are basically the same on the merch stand.
got
There's
it.
loads of pictures of the merch stand, you'll be fine. Just look online for the pictures and you'll see everything.
Yeah,
By your leg, it might have changed anyway. They might have changed bits or added bits or sold out some things. I don't know.
yeah. But
So
that is a point. Is like sometimes you can check online and budget ahead of time,
mhm,
or ask people who have gone to shows before you and then roughly convert it to your currency so that you can budget ahead of time.
mhm.
Um, I know as a general rule of thumb, I have a certain amount that I like try and put aside for merch. And the other thing is that it doesn't matter if your favorite artist is not currently on tour. That is the perfect time to start saving. I personally have a from the age of 13 when I first got my bank account, I started a bank account, not a bank account, a savings account, which at the time had a different name, but is now called Concert Fund. And even if you just put $10 in a week, that builds. And by the time your favorite artist is back, you can get the tickets, you can save up for merch, you can save up for travel because it does all cost. Um, it doesn't have to be that big amount of an amount that you put in there, but if you're consistent, then that will build up and you can do more things. There are ways to like safely budget this. But the other thing is it doesn't matter if you can't afford it. Like that doesn't make you any more or less of a fan. And we should not
Yeah.
see online people who are trying to tell someone that they're a bad person because of how many shows they've gone to, or someone trying to tell someone that they're a bad person because how many shows they're not going to. It does not matter. It doesn't matter whether you
Mhm.
have all of their records or none. A fan is just someone who appreciates their art. That's all it is. There's no special test you have to do. You don't have to prove that you're fan enough. I don't know. It's just not that deep.
Yeah, there's always conversations around you're not you're not a good enough fan if you only go to one show, or you're a stalker if you go to more than three, and it's like, why is it just immediate extremes on both ends? You've not done enough, so you're a bad fan, and you've done too much, so you're a bad fan, and it's like there's no real. There are a few things that would make you a bad fan, and there are some names that pop into my head when I think of that st sentence. But generally speaking, if you're just going to the shows, be that you're going to one in 10 years or you're going to 12 in a month, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If that's how you want to spend money, that's how you want to spend your money.
Yeah, but also there's context because when what we've said about the shows, you can compare you and I. You have the opportunity to go to a leg because think about how close together that is for you to travel. I
Mhm.
live in New Zealand. New Zealand has one single show. If I wanted to go to Australia, that is actually a longer flight than people think, and it's very expensive. I mean, if I want to travel from where I am now to halfway across the country, you know how much that's going to cost me? $650. So if it costs me that to get from here to where the concert is, do you think I'm going to be going to Australia? Do you think I'm going to be doing that whole leg of the tour? No. And I'm not going to shame anyone who can because if you have the ability to, that's amazing. Please tell me how
Mhm.
you do it. But it's not reasonable. You've also got to consider the range of fans. Some people are just teenagers who are actually having to like save up and do extra part-time jobs or like get their parents to help out in order to afford it. Other people are fans who have been saving for a while, like I have, and can get there. Some fans have to like scrape together every last dollar to get to a show. You should not be shamed for that. You just shouldn't. It's not that deep.
No. But
Yeah,
that does raise a whole other conversation about ticketing prices, but that can be its own thing.
it will be. Another kind of fun thing we can see sometimes is fan-made marketing. And my goodness, has that been amazing to see this era. Because I mean, I'm someone who's very interested in user-generated content. And so seeing everyone's outfits, seeing everyone's like star makeup and how like insanely talented, like I'm actually speechless at some of the looks I've seen. Um, but
Mhm.
that is what it's about. Like I love all of that stuff, and that is what you should have on your fan account, not this pettiness of trying to like ah yeah. I'm so frustrated at some of the things I've seen. Um yeah.
Yeah, it's fan-made marketing, I think, is really important because like you said, the outfits, the makeup and everything like that's so fun. And I think this, at least in my opinion, from what I've seen and what I've experienced over the last 5 weeks, this is the first tour that Five Sauce have done where everyone's like intentionally been on theme. Like for the Rock Out With Your Socks Out era, that was just the era of ripped skinny jeans and flannels. It wasn't really like an intentional thing. That was just how people dressed. Whereas like this era, people are intentionally putting stars on their makeup, putting stars on their outfits, having these like slogan tees that kind of lean into the ego of a boy band and all of this fun stuff. Um, like I said earlier, I had the Dibs on the Bassist t-shirt. I also had a t-shirt that said my boyfriend is literally on stage. Um, that was the one that Ashton saw and he gave me a pic. Um,
Confirm
he
there.
also made a point of saying he also made a point of saying he did not like my Dibs on the Bassist shirt.
Jealous much. Sorry.
Stinks of jealousy. Stinks of jealousy.
Yeah.
But I had like a mini skirt that was, I had a denim mini skirt that had stars on it. I had a glittery
Oh,
mini skirt that had stars on it. I had a jumper that had a star here. I had a crop top that had a tie on it that had stars down it. Like I had tights that had stars embellished on them. Like there was so much, and obviously that's just me going to all of these shows wearing these things. At every single show, there was hundreds, if not thousands, of people dressed so on theme and so well on theme as well. Like not even just putting stars on things, but like the color schemes would match the album or a certain music video or a certain like Callum hairstyle or a certain Michael hat or something. Like there'd be little things that you can see and you could tell, you'd be like, oh, I know who your favorite is just by how they're dressed. Like it was so fun and everyone on this tour has been so like with the marketing community side of it, like there are friendship bracelets, people were handing out stickers, keychains,
I know.
everything. There were some really nice moments as well, because obviously you get like the standard handing out a bracelet, here you go, here's one. There were some that were like, stick your hand in, pick three random bracelets out, and then pick one of your three, and that's the one you have. It's not put it back and pick one and pick whatever one you like. It's like completely luck of the draw. I picked out three. Can't remember what three I had, but I ended up with What I Like About You on a friendship bracelet,
Oh,
which is
nice.
really cute. Um, but yeah, like as well with as well how online five sauce are on TikTok specifically.
Yikes.
A lot of like a lot of like TikToks of just recaps of the shows or and you're never safe, by the way. Five Sauce liked my TikTok the other day from opening night. I think they liked it a week ago, and it was from opening night that happened like 5 weeks ago. Why are you there? Why are you in that video? But there's a lot of people doing outfit checks, concert recaps, like happy moments and stuff, and it all feeds into this like marketing of the tour, essentially.
Yeah,
Because now people are watching it and going, "Oh my God, I don't want Five Sauce to leave Europe." I really don't.
yeah.
But also then you've got people overseas going, "Oh my God, I can't wait until they're here."
Me. I I'm now in a phase where if I see any videos from the tour, I immediately cry. Um, because and I was talking about this and I've been pretty open about how much they mean to me. But I years ago had a moment where I was listening to their music in my darkest moment. And I remember saying, one day none of this will matter because I will be standing in a concert and it will be years from now and I'll know, wow, I survived. And
Mhm.
every time now that I see any clip, whether it's a concert fit and I realize I'm going to be able to like film one of those, or I see a clip from the tour, I'm like, these songs I'm going to actually hear live that like I was listening to in the worst moments. So you're right, it's building this anticipation for me, but also I love the fact that I wasn't one of the first shows because like I now get to see how on theme my outfit is. For example, last year, and keep in mind, this was I actually made this outfit from the announcement of the album name, where I had nothing else to go on. It was called Everyone's a
Mhm.
Star, and I was like wanting to go as I think I was wanting to go as Luke Hemmings for Halloween. So I bought this denim jacket and it came with pearls on it, and I was like, I'm just gonna stick stars on the back because it's Everyone's a Star era, and then I had like the rest of like a more 2010s Luke Hemmings look. Um, and how on brand that jacket ended up being. So, like, I'm moving soon, and I've said to Mum, I was like, I don't know how we keep it safe in the car, but it has to come with me because I'm wearing that. And then also, like you said about intentionally being on theme, I loosely tried that for Nile, and it went absolutely horrendously. Because I didn't realize I didn't quite get the memo of a fan project of how everyone else was going to dress that show, and so I looked ridiculous, but that's fine. Um, I have been collecting things that are either hot pink or have stars on them, and I just completely randomly, I was looking online for boxes to move, like plastic boxes. That's how
Mhm.
not looking for 5 sauce I was, just for context. And the same website that I bought the plastic moving boxes from has a pack of two cowboy hats, like properly look like what Ashton would wear, sort of cowboy hats, but they've got stars like around them. And the way I ran to mum and I was like, we need these. And mum's like, for what? Why? And I was like, do you want, which one do you want? Because there's like a fake leather one, and then there's like a more like brownie cowboy hat one. Um, I actually, it's gotten to the point where I have a bookmarks folder for anything hot pink and a
Mhm.
bookmarks folder for anything with stars on it. And that's on branding. Like, but it's so nice to sort of see these moments. And then, um, another fan-made marketing thing that I think is really cool that we have to talk about. Have you seen the Star Trek app?
Yes,
That is so cool. Like, a fan
that is.
built that all.
Yeah, I never took part in it because I was at so many shows, but it is a very cool concept. I hope she finds a way to like, because I don't know if it was worldwide or not. And I don't know if there's a way that she'll be able to check for the American shows because I know the time zones and stuff, but who knows? I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs. I didn't make the app, I didn't take part in it, but I did see it and it was very cool. Um, and I'm surprised at how fast they were able to pull it off and have it implemented online.
Yeah, it felt really quick, and I was like, that is impressive. And I
Mhm.
agree, it is something I've thought about. Is like, I don't know if that will be able to carry over to my show. Um, Kind of in the same way that we've seen. I don't know if it was like the 5 sauce HQ or which one it was, but there was a 5 sauce fan account on Instagram that's been having like they've been reposting fan content of like
Mhm.
actual proper clips and moments, which has been really nice to see because like there are some key things from the show, but there are some key moments that change somewhat every night. And so it's been really fun for me. Well, it's been fun to see what they do, but it's also been a little bit sad to be like, "Ah, that one's taken before my show." But
Can you imagine how I felt when I realized they played Out of Space and Soundcheck and then Don't Stop at the show in the same day?
and it was like the one after you'd finished.
Hmm.
That's personal at that point. Like both of them.
Hmm.
And when there's that clip where you were asking, I was just like, nah. Did you didn't like say, oh, I'm going home on this day, and he went, right, let's put it in the calendar.
I'm so angry with him. I planted the seed in his head. Um, Obviously, he had been thinking about it for a few weeks. Obviously, there was something in his little brain that knew. And maybe he put the association with me because unfortunately, every single show he clocked me and he made a point of clocking me, even outside. I don't know if you saw my tweet, where he like pointed at someone in
Mm.
Berlin, like in the middle of the street. He's like chatting to someone. He just goes, "That was me." So he knows there's the association there of me in outer space. But he also knows that I said I was following them around Europe, so I don't know if he thought I meant every single show.
Yeah, I wonder if he did. And I was like, that is so devastating. Like, I've also like I was gonna try and leave it for the fans, but we can't not talk about it, right? Um, the law drops. There was one that I specifically because while you were away, Mum and I recorded a podcast episode, and the first one was about 5 sauce, and we had different law drops. There were some moments that Mum does actually know, and so I've been hoping that like one of those moments could stay as like the one that we get on the screen, because Mum talks about like being excited for my reaction, but I'm like excited for her reaction, and so I'm like, I hope it's one she actually knows. And I've watched as all the ones she actually knows have already happened, and I'm just like, well, yikes. I'm gonna have to like hopefully it's not one that I'm gonna have to explain to mum what it is. She's gonna
Mhm.
go, what does that mean? Um,
I'm so glad that my last one was Callum going,
I know that was perfect. I was like, yes. And then
That
the
was
other
so
one
cute.
is the surprise songs. The surprise songs. I
Mhm.
I don't know what I want it to be. And I also fear that because what do you mean of some of those options?
I I don't the UK didn't get any. The UK and Ireland didn't get any. And Five Star said because they didn't rehearse it enough. What is there to rehearse? It's a different song every day. Um, don't get me started, that annoys me. But in Europe, what I was hoping for was that it would be genuinely a different song every day. I didn't want repeats. If there were repeats, it was like if they played a song in Europe, they could play it in America, but they couldn't play it again in Europe or something.
Yeah.
Alas, Start Over won like 5 days in a row. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I love Start Over. I really do. But you know the thought process is because it was on the surprise song list. No one voted for it, so they took it off. They made a bunch of TikToks going, why did no one vote for Start Over? And then everyone at every show voted for Start Over, and it got boring very fast.
Yeah.
Because you could see the process in which they were making it happen. It didn't happen authentically because you pushed it to happen that way, and then it didn't feel like a surprise.
Yeah, I actually have I know that my show is ages away, but I have a sound check question which I wrote specifically because of that. So it's on the topic of them making things happen. Because between the Boy Band Award and Start Over, they all they have to do is put a little clip out there and their little fans go, we'll make it happen. So,
Mhm.
and then because after that clip, they then went back online to make another clip about like, wow, so surprised that Start Over keeps winning. I'm like, really?
Mhm.
You know the fan mentality and you're so surprised?
Got The Rocks twice. Before they started, I went on a whole rant on Twitter and I was like, if you guys don't vote for Everyone's a Star songs on the Everyone's a Star tour, just know I don't like you. And then Girls Talk Boys came up as an option at one of my shows, and I went, bet. But that being said, before tour even started, before the set list started getting announced, anything, I was tweeting back to back about how much I wanted Girls Talk Boys on that set list. So I hold my hands up. I didn't vote for an Everyone's a Star song. I'm sorry, but I did
But
get Girls
that's
Talk Boys.
fair. That's
That's
fair.
fair. I got Girls Talk Boys. I got The Rocks twice. I got something else. And I got Start Over. And I did a group FaceTime with my little group chat because I said for my last show I'll FaceTime you for the secret song. And it was Start Over, which like I
Again.
love. I love Start Over. Yeah. I love Start Over, but they made a point of texting me afterwards going, your guttural scream when you said no when it got announced kind of ruined
Yeah.
the song. I was like, sorry, babe. I just didn't want Start Over. The options were like Start Over, Blender, You Don't Go to Parties, and something else. And I think I voted for You Don't Go to Parties that day.
Someone said
I
it
went for
was you don't go to parties. Did that never
it
happen?
was it was at another show,
Okay.
not at this show.
But I agree. Like, there are songs that I would vote for that wouldn't be Everyone's a Star songs. I know it would have to be a pretty special song though, because I think the top songs that I'm hoping for are definitely like on the Everyone's a Star album. But I think there are some songs that you could convince me to vote for.
My thought process was when they started repeating songs on the four that you could choose from, I was hoping it would be a different four every time, or
Mm.
like it would remove the one that was played and they'd put a new one in and whatever. Because they did that for a bit and then they started changing it. But my process was, okay, well, I've heard like that one's been played, that one's been played, that one's been played, that one hasn't been played, so let's vote for that one, even though it's not an Everyone's a Star song, but we have proof of these three being played. We don't have that one yet. So like that then started being my process. And then I got bored and annoyed. Um, so just started voting for songs I wanted to hear.
Yeah, exactly. Because one that I think there's bonus tracks I really want to hear. Like all of the like all of the songs that are on the covers with like the guys' individual faces. One, I would absolutely die if my secret song was Chest. I'm just gonna put it out into the world. I'm going to the Auckland show, and if I hear Chest, I will actually on the spot die. Um, I think other than that, like I don't really know what I want until you see the options, you can't really predict how you'd vote.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but I tell you what I won't be doing, voting for Start Over. That's been this week's episode of Mountain Mike. Have a groovy week.